Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, who am I? Not just your name, your job, your role in your family, not your past, your memories, or the stories you tell about yourself. But really, who are you? Krishnamurti believed that this question, when asked with honesty and without rushing for an answer, can completely transform your life. But here's the thing, most of us never ask it deeply enough. We assume we already know. You might say, well, I'm a teacher, or I'm a father, or I'm a person who likes music, who struggles with anxiety, who has dreams. But are those just labels and descriptions? Or are they you? Krishnamurti pointed out that we often confuse our identity with our thoughts and experiences. But what if you are not your thoughts? What if you're not the sum of your memories or the image you've built over the years? He asked, can you look at yourself without the image? Not the image others have of you, not even the image you have of you. Just look, without judgment, without trying to fix or analyze. That's not easy, because our minds are full of noise. Stories we tell ourselves, I'm not good enough. I always mess up. People don't understand me. We carry these stories like heavy bags, and after a while we start thinking we are those bags. But what if you could drop them for a moment? What's left? Most of us are afraid to look, because when we take away all those layers, job, family, trauma, success, failure, there's a silence, an unknown space. And that's scary. But Krishnamurti believed that in that silence, in that space, we begin to see. Not through the lens of fear or comparison or the need to become someone, but with total clarity. He once said, the ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. Think about that for a second. Can you observe yourself, your reactions, your fears, your desires, without trying to label them as good or bad? When you feel jealous, for example, what do you usually do? You either justify it, or you feel guilty about it. But Krishnamurti would ask, can you simply observe jealousy as it arises, without judging it, without trying to fix it? Because the moment you just observe, without resistance, something begins to change. Not because you're trying to change, but because truth, when seen clearly, has a way of transforming you. So when we ask, do you really know who you are? It's not about finding a final answer. It's about starting a different kind of relationship with yourself. One that's based on awareness, not identity. On presence, not image. Krishnamurti believed that real freedom begins the moment we stop identifying with the false. And much of what we think we are is just that. False. Constructed. Borrowed. Learned. He didn't offer a method or a step-by-step guide. He wasn't a guru with a secret formula. In fact, he often said, truth is a pathless land. You can't follow anyone to find it. You have to look for yourself. And that's both terrifying and liberating. It means no one else can define who you are. Not your past, not society, not your friends, not your failures. It's up to you, in each moment, to observe, to listen, to understand. But that kind of looking requires stillness. It requires the courage to sit with discomfort, to watch your inner world like a mirror, without flinching, without running away. That's the beginning of knowing yourself. Not as an idea, not as a label, but as a living, breathing, unfolding reality. A mystery that can't be solved, only witnessed. And maybe, just maybe, in that quiet witnessing, you'll find something deeper than identity. Something that doesn't need a name. So if you're not your thoughts, not your job, not your emotions, what are you? Krishnamurti would say, you are the observer. Not the thing being observed, the awareness itself, the still presence behind the noise. But that idea can feel a little abstract. What does it really mean to be the observer? Let's break it down. Right now, as you're listening, thoughts might be passing through your mind. Maybe you're agreeing with something, or doubting it, or remembering a moment from your own life. Whatever it is, that stream of thoughts is not you. You are the one noticing them. And that noticing, that silent watcher, is untouched. It doesn't judge. It doesn't belong to the past or future. It just is. Krishnamurti believed that in this pure observation we find clarity, not through effort, not through becoming something better, but through simply seeing what is, without distortion. And when you see something clearly, really clearly, you don't need discipline or motivation to change. Change happens naturally. Let's say you see that you're constantly seeking approval from others. If you try to fight it, suppress it, or cover it up, it stays in the shadows. But if you observe it fully, see how it moves in your mind, how it affects your choices, something inside starts to shift. Not because you're forcing change, but because the light of awareness dissolves what's false. This is what Krishnamurti meant when he said that understanding is not the result of effort. You don't struggle your way to understanding, you see your way there. But we live in a world that pushes us to be something all the time. Be successful, be confident, be better than others. It's a constant game of comparison. Krishnamurti warned that comparison is the beginning of fear. The moment you measure yourself against another, you're already in conflict. You're already chasing an image instead of understanding yourself. So what if you stopped comparing? What if you stopped trying to be someone and just watched what you are? Even if what you see is messy, even if it's insecure, confused, or afraid, that's okay. Because the truth of what you are, right now, is the only place real transformation can begin. Krishnamurti never told people what to believe. He never gave affirmations or techniques, because he believed that truth isn't something to be handed to you. It's something you see for yourself, in your own direct experience. And that's the power of this question. Do you really know who you are? Not as a concept, but as a living inquiry. A moment-to-moment openness to what's happening within you. In that inquiry, something beautiful happens. You begin to sense a space inside, a space that's not afraid, not reactive, not controlled by the past. That space is not a new identity. It's not a better version of you. It's freedom, and from that freedom, love can grow. Not romantic love or attachment, but a quiet, deep compassion for yourself, for others, for life itself. Because once you stop clinging to an identity, you stop defending, you stop pretending, and you start seeing people as they are, seeing yourself as you are, without fear, without the need to fix or improve, just seeing. And in that seeing, there's peace. Not the peace of silence in the room, but the peace that comes when the war inside your mind ends. That's what Krishnamurti pointed to. Not a path, not a system, but a flame of attention. A quiet revolution that begins the moment you ask, not with your head, but with your whole being. Who am I? And wait long enough, not for an answer, but for silence. Because in that silence, you may just meet the part of yourself that was never lost, never broken, never confused. It was always there, watching, waiting, awake. So maybe now you're wondering, what do I do with all this? The truth is, maybe you don't need to do anything at all. Krishnamurti's words weren't meant to give you more ideas to believe. They were meant to shake you awake, to help you look, really look, at yourself, your mind, your habits, without filters. Because when you start observing without judgment, something shifts. You begin to notice the tension behind your thoughts. You begin to question the things you used to take for granted. And you begin to see how much of your life is spent trying to become, instead of just being. That's the beginning of real freedom. Not freedom from the outside world, or from responsibilities, but freedom from the endless noise inside. The pressure to be someone, the fear of being no one. Krishnamurti wasn't asking you to become something different. He was inviting you to wake up, to meet yourself here and now with no masks. And maybe that's where peace begins. Not after we've figured everything out, not after we've healed or achieved or perfected ourselves, but in this very moment, when we stop running. So let the question stay with you. Do you really know who you are? Not to answer it, but to live with it, to carry it into your daily life, with openness, with curiosity, with care. Watch how your mind moves. Notice what triggers fear or desire or comparison, and ask yourself, without pressure, without needing to fix anything. Is this who I really am? Or just who I've been taught to be? This kind of self-inquiry isn't something you finish. It's something you return to again and again. Not out of effort, but out of love. Love for truth. Love for clarity. Love for the simplicity of just being. And maybe in that quiet returning, you'll begin to feel something new. A spaciousness, a stillness, a presence that doesn't come from thinking, but from seeing. That's not something anyone can give you, but it's always been yours, just waiting for you to notice. Thank you for being here. If this made you pause even for a moment, consider subscribing, not for answers, but for more questions worth living.